What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be taking a look at the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series driver lineup. I'm going to go through all the confirmed entries that are full-time and part-time for 2024 up to this point. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We're going to start to talk about the 00 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. This one's going to be driven by Cole Custer. Cole Custer had a really good year in 2023, scoring 3 victories and going on to win his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series title. He looks to build upon that by winning many races and winning back-to-back championships in 2024. He looks to win a lot in the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Up next, how about the 1 car for Junior Motorsports? This one's going to be driven by Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer had a really great year in 2023, scoring 4 wins and making it to the Final 4 in 2023. He looks to build upon that in 2024 as he looks to win many races and continue a really strong year like 2023 and go for his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series title in the 2024 Xfinity Series season. Up next, how about the 2 car for Richard Childress Racing? There'll be a new driver behind the wheel of the number 2 car as Jesse Lovely will be joining the NASCAR Xfinity Series and driving this number 2 car in 2024. He had a really good year in ARCA last year, winning nearly double-digit races and going on to win the ARCA title last season. He looks to have a really good year. He'll have Danny Saugen as a crew chief in the 2024 season. He's a pretty solid driver and looks to make the playoffs and win his first Xfinity Series races of his NASCAR career. Up next, how about the 4 car for JD Motorsports? There'll be a new driver behind the wheel of the 4 car in 2024 as Dawson Cram will be joining this team after being with CHK Racing in 2023. Dawson Cram is a very underrated driver who does at times get the best out of equipment. I'm not expecting him to set the world on fire in 2024, but this is a very solid opportunity for him. Hope he can make the best of it throughout the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series season in that number 4 car. Up next, how about the 5 car for Our Motorsports? This will be driven this season by Anthony Alfredo, who last year, of course, drove for BJ McLeod Motorsports. Anthony Alfredo had a solid year with that team last year and has returned to Our Motorsports after being with them back in 2022. He'll have a solid lineup as Josh Graham will be the crew chief for him in 2024 and looks to have a really great year with Our Motorsports and makes the hope to make the playoffs for the first time in his Xfinity Series career. Up next, how about the 7 car for Junior Motorsports? This one's going to be driven by Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier had a great year in 2023, scoring 4 victories and making it to the Final 4. He's come close to winning the Xfinity Series Championship many times. I think he's going to have a really great chance and opportunity to do that once again in the 2024 season. He's a good enough driver who can get the best out of equipment, and I think Justin Allgaier will be a championship contender in 2024. Up next, how about the A car for Junior Motorsports? There'll be a new driver on the wheel of the A car in 2024 as Sammy Smith will be joining Junior Motorsports, replacing Josh Berry after being at Joe Gibbs Racing last season. Sammy Smith got 1 win last year with Joe Gibbs Racing in the number 18 car and brings sponsorship over from Pilot Flying J. Sammy Smith looks to have a breakout year and get multiple victories in 2024 and be looking to win his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series championship. Up next, how about the 9 car for Junior Motorsports? This one's going to be driven by Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones had an awful year in 2023 for that 9 car standards. He failed to make the playoffs and had less top 5 finishes, I believe, than Noah Gragson had wins the previous season in 2022. He's looking to have a bounce back year in 2024. I think Brandon Jones has a really good chance and a really strong opportunity to do that and looks to build upon to have a much better season in the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Up next, how about the 10 car for Kaulig Racing? Kaulig Racing is going to run this 10 car for the majority of the year in 2024. Daniel Dye is going to drive in 10 races this year in that car starting at Daytona. And we also expect drivers like Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez to be behind the wheel of the seat at some point this year. There was chatter maybe Matt DiBenedetto was also going to drive, but as of right now, that is not going to be the case. Nonetheless, as of right now, for sure, Daniel Dye will run 10 NASCAR Xfinity Series races in 2024. Up next, how about the 11 car for Kaulig Racing? There'll be a new driver on the wheel of the number 11 car as Josh Williams joins Kaulig Racing. Josh Williams has been under fun equipment throughout his whole entire NASCAR Xfinity Series career and looks to make the playoffs for the first time. This is the best opportunity he's ever had in his career, and I think Josh will have a really great chance and opportunity to not only win races this season, but make the Xfinity Series playoffs. He's a good driver, capable of getting it done. I think Josh Williams could have a pretty good year in 2024. Up next, how about the 15 car for AM Racing? This season, this car will be driven by Hailie Deegan. This will also be the new number 25 car. She'll have Joe Williams as a crew chief and be sponsored by Airbox and Viva throughout the 2024 season. She's been criticized in her Truck Series career up to this point, but I think Hailie Deegan has to have an opportunity to press people and do a better job in Xfinity this year as she does move up. Hoping she can prove a lot of people wrong and have a great year in the 2024 season. Up next, how about the 16 car for Kaulig Racing? AJ Allmendinger will be the driver's seat in 2024 as he jumps away from the Cup Series back down to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He'll have a really solid group working with him in the 2024 season. And I think he's absolutely the championship favorite, or one of the championship favorites. He won a lot of Xfinity Series races last year, won 2 races as a matter of fact, and looks to win his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series championship in the 2024 season. I think AJ has a really great chance and opportunity to get that done. Up next, how about the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? There'll be a new driver behind the wheel of the seat as Sheldon Creed will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing in 2024 in a number 18 car. Sheldon will be working with a couple of new people this year. Sam McCauley will be the crew chief, who was Denny Hamlin's engineer last season. And Sheldon Creed, in my opinion, is a very talented driver who can get the best out of equipment. Hope he can have a much better season in 2024. I think he will get multiple victories and contend for multiple wins throughout the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Up next, how about the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This car will be a rotation seat for 2024 as Ryan Truex, Joe Graf Jr., Taylor Gray, and William Walsh will split this seat. It has not been announced to be behind the wheel of the seat for the Daytona in about 3 weeks from now, but I imagine it's either going to be Joe Graf Jr. or Ryan Truex. Nonetheless, it will be the rotation seat that won't have any owner's points going into the year. This will be the rotation car for 2024 for JGR. Up next, how about the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? There'll be 2 drivers in the seat in 2024 as Eric Almirola joins his team after being with Stu Ross Racing for the last 6 seasons, and John Nemechek will drive his seat for around 10 races in 2024, getting experience he can bring back to the Cup Series. Really good to see Eric Almirola coming back to Joe Gibbs Racing this season, and I think this is a very solid lineup for them this year, and this is going to be the car going for the Owners' Points Championship in 2024. Up next, how about the 21 car for Richard Childress Racing? This one's going to be driven by Austin Hill. Austin Hill had a breakout year in 2023, scoring 4 victories, but unfortunately was not able to make it to the Championship 4. The goal for Austin Hill is to try to make it to the Final 4 this year and win his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series title, as he also did sign a multi-year contract extension with Richard Childress Racing starting in 2024. Up next, how about the 26 car for Sam Hunt Racing? This car is going to be a rotation car in 2024 as Jeffrey Earnhardt, Corey Heim, and Sage Karam will be 3 of the drivers who will be behind the wheel of this car. Sage will drive at Daytona and other races throughout the year. Jeffrey will be behind the wheel at Atlanta, and Corey will be behind the wheel at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I do expect other drivers to be behind the wheel of this car throughout 2024, but these 3 drivers are confirmed to be 3 of the names who will be behind the wheel of this seat in 2024. Up next, how about the 27 car for Jordan Anderson Racing? This one's going to be driven by Jeb Burton. Jeb Burton, coming off of winning at Talladega last year in 2023, looks to build upon and have a much better year in 2024 after unfortunately getting eliminated in the round of 12. He looks to improve, have a much better season, and perform really, really good with Jordan Anderson Racing in 2024. Up next, how about the 28 car for RSS Racing? This will be driven by Kyle Sieg this season. Kyle Sieg had an okay year last year, had a couple top 20 finishes, and I think he got 1 or 2 top 10s last year, but generally for the most part kind of ran in the middle to the back of the pack. Hopefully Kyle Sieg can have a much better year in 2024 and show he's capable of being up front throughout the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Up next, how about the 29 car for RSS Racing? There'll be a new driver on the wheel of the seat as Blaine Perkins will be full-time with this organization after being with our Motorsports last season. Blaine Perkins was very hit or miss in Xfinity and struggled for the most part. I think he failed to qualify for a few races last year. He looks to have a much better year with a better team. Hopefully he can make the field for every race this year in 2024. Up next, how about the 31 car for Jordan Anderson Racing? This one's going to be driven by Parker Retzlaff. Parker Retzlaff had a very solid year last year in 2023, scoring plenty top 10 finishes and getting a couple really strong starting positions. And we'll also have a new crew chief in Shane Wilson this season, I believe, or the former crew chief of the number 20, actually Chad Kendrick, will be the crew chief of this 31 car in 2024. Hopefully Parker Retzlaff can have a very, very solid season and make the playoffs for the first time in his Xfinity Series career. Up next, how about the 38 car for RSS Racing? This will be a rotation seat in 2024 as CJ McLaughlin will be behind the wheel of this number 38 car for around 10 races this year, including at Daytona International Speedway. There's other drivers expected to be behind the wheel. There was conversation about Frankie Muniz being with this team, but he will not be with the team as of now for 2024. Nonetheless, it'll be a rotation seat for the year. Up next, how about the 39 car for RSS Racing? This one's going to be driven by Ryan Sieg. Ryan Sieg did not have a good year in 2023. There was a lot of struggles, a lot of bad finishes, and had one of his worst statistical seasons up to this point. Ryan Sieg looks to improve and have a much better year and try to make the Xfinity Series playoffs once again in the 2024 Xfinity Series season with his own organization. Up next, how about the 42 car for Young's Motorsports? That's right, Young's Motorsports will be joining the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2024, and Leland Honeyman is going to be the driver of this team. They will have some people working with them as Andrew Abbott will be the crew chief, and they, I don't believe, have any owner's points that they have to qualify in on time. Lucky for them, Leland is a capable enough driver and will have an opportunity to be with this team in 2024 going for the title. Up next, how about the 43 car for Alpha Prime Racing? This will be driven by Ryan Ellis full-time in 2024. Ryan Ellis ran a majority of races at Alpha Prime Racing in 2023, where he ran solid, but not spectacular. But I think Ryan is a very underrated driver, and I think he'll have a really good chance and opportunity to make the best of it in the season. Ryan hopes to make the playoffs or at least show some speed in 2024. Up next, how about the 44 car for Alpha Prime Racing? There'll be a new driver on the wheel of the number 44 car as Brennan Poole will be getting the opportunity to drive full-time for Alpha Prime Racing in 2024. Brennan Poole's gotten the best out of equipment for many, many years, and this will be a really good opportunity for him as he looks to have a lot of strong performances and a lot of great runs, and hopefully have a couple solid performances in the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series season with Alpha Prime Racing. Up next, how about the 45 car for Alpha Prime Racing? This will be a rotation seat, will only run part-time in 2024, as Cesar Baccarelli is going to run all the Super Speedway races in 2024, and Brad Perez will be making some select starts in number 45 car starting at Circuit of the Americas, most likely running all the road course races. This car will have to qualify on speed and on time throughout 2024. Up next, how about the 48 car for Big Machine Racing? This one's going to be driven by Parker Kligerman. Parker Kligerman had a really bad start to the year, or kind of struggled start of the season last year, but by the second half of the year, he was one of the 10 or 15 most consistent drivers and was able to make it to the playoffs in 2023. The goal is to show improvement, get his first career victory. We'll see what Parker Kligerman can do with this team in 2024 as he looks to improve on a really good year in 2023. Up next, how about the 51 car for Jeremy Clements Racing? This, of course, once again be driven by Jeremy Clements. Jeremy did not have a great year in 2023. I think he only got 1 or 2 top 10s throughout the whole entire season and struggled to finish in the top 20 consistently. With the field being so competitive this year, that may hurt Jeremy Clements in the long run. But I think Jeremy has good enough equipment, and we'll see what he can do with this team in 2024. Up next, how about the 81 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? There will be a new driver on the wheel of number 81 car as Chandler Smith will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2024. Chandler Smith did very, very strong with Kaulig Racing last year, scoring a victory and getting to the round of 8. Chandler is one of the championship favorites going into this season. We'll have Jeff Mendering as a crew chief, who worked with Sammy Smith last season. Chandler Smith will bring some sponsorship over with him as well and looks to have a great year with Joe Gibbs Racing in 2024. Up next, how about the 87 car for Peterson Racing Group? This will be driven by Austin Green, who is the son of David Green. Austin Green, of course, would stand out in the Trans Am Series, will run 9 races with this team in 2024, as they'll be attempting to make their first start as a last year attempt to qualify at the Roval, but unfortunately failed to qualify. They will have an alliance of Rich Schultz Racing and Xfinity as well. To my understanding, it will be in the series at least part-time in 2024. Up next, how about the 91 car for DJM Racing? This will be driven full-time by Kyle Weatherman. Kyle Weatherman's been with DJM Racing the last couple of years, but has not been full-time in a long time in a series. This is a great opportunity for him. I think Kyle Weatherman is a very underrated driver, and I think he definitely will get the best out of equipment with this organization in 2024. Up next, how about the 92 car for DJM Racing? It's been announced that Josh Blickey is going to run the Daytona Opener with Ziegler's sponsorship, and it was announced earlier this week that he will be driving this car at Talladega and a couple other races with Insurance King as the sponsor. Josh Blickey has driven for DJM Racing many times before in the past, and he looks to run really, really well with this team in the select races in 2024. Up next, how about the 97 car for Kaulig Racing? This, of course, will be driven by Shane Van Gisbergen, who will have Bruce Schlicker as a crew chief and will be sponsored by WeatherTech throughout a majority of the season, and potentially also could be sponsored by Red Bull as well. While he'll be running part-time in the Cup Series with Trackhouse Racing, he'll get the opportunity chance to run full-time in Xfinity, run on ovals, and run on road courses throughout the season. Shane Van Gisbergen looks to have a really solid and a really good year in 2024. I think he'll struggle at the start of the season, but I think by the end of 2024, I expect Shane Van Gisbergen to be a championship threat and a championship contender. It's going to be a good year for Shane Van Gisbergen as he looks to build upon some solid runs in Cup last year in 2023. And finally, the last confirmed ride as of now is a 98 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. This, of course, will be driven by Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst had a Jekyll and Hyde season in 2023, started off well, had a bad middle, but the end of the year was absolutely fantastic. After signing a contract extension with SHR, he got his first career win that week of that in Las Vegas and finished in the top 5, I think, in the final 5 consecutive races. Riley Herbst looks to have a really great year and looks to get more wins and be an outside championship contender and potentially get a breakout season and get multiple victories in the Xfinity Series in 2024 with Stewart-Haas Racing. So, that is the confirmed 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series driver lineup. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below that, and comment with your thoughts below on today's episode. What are thoughts on all the confirmed entries for the Xfinity Series for this season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. There will be a paint scheme video dropping on the channel later today. Tomorrow on the channel, we'll have the race review for the Rolex 24. Monday, I'll be probably taking a look at all the silly season moves that have taken place. And there might also be a NASCAR news video dropping on Tuesday as well, along with the Busch Light Clash entry list that might be coming out later in the week on Wednesday. I got a lot of great content dropping on the channel as we get closer to the start of the season, as we're only about a week away from the start of the NASCAR season taking place. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.